Welcome back to the Autry Benton Show. If you've been to downtown Conway anytime soon, you know what all the buzz about. It's the Anto's Pizza downtown, and I've got their owners in-house today to talk all about it. So thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. Thank y'all for being here.
Of course.
So it's quite the buzz in Conway.
Yeah.
Lines outside the door, delicious pizza. So I want to start right at the beginning. Where are y'all from?
I'm from Philadelphia area originally.
Okay.
Carly's.
I'm from Jefferson, New Jersey, pretty far north up there.
Okay, awesome. Well, how did y'all meet?
We were both Dolphin trainers in the Florida Keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me back up a little bit. So tell me about growing up, where you did.
Yeah, Philadelphia area. I grew up in my family's pizza shops. Always did that.
Always pizza.
Always pizza. Yeah, always pizza. And I did little odd jobs on the side, but it was always pizza. Shortly after high school, I got my first pizzeria with my uncle, and decided I was going to go to school and try and do something else. So I ended up moving to Florida when I was 22. Lived there for 10 years, went into marine science, like Carly said, dolphin training and sea lions and parrots and all that good stuff. That's where we met down there. So
yeah, wow.
We got back into pizza down there.
So your earliest memories were pizza?
First jobs, yeah, when I was a kid, I started as a server in the pizzeria, then behind the counter, dishes, delivery driver, a little bit of everything on the grill, and then pizza maker, and that's pretty much all I did.
Good memories though. Tell me about where you grew up. Was it a good place to grow up?
Yeah, it was good.
Of it?
Obviously my whole family's still up there, so surrounded by family. Growing up in the pizza shop, it was good. Like I said, my first job, and really a blessing to be able to work with family. That was really cool. And then getting my first pizzeria with my uncle, he taught me a ton, before I moved out of state and started taking courses and doing all different types of things. So he taught me a ton about just work in general, not even just pizza, just how to work and how to do all that. So a lot of good experiences there, but I wanted to go back to school and kind of get into a different area and try and, a little change of scenery. Thought might be better for me. So that's how I ended up in Florida.
I got you. So tell me where you grew up one more time.
Jefferson, New Jersey.
Tell me about growing up there. What were you into?
The biggest lake in New Jersey, so we were always out on the lake, on the water. My mom always took me to Long Beach Island, New Jersey, every year, same house, and we'd always go watch the Dolphins in the morning, and she'd have a coffee, and yeah, I love her.
That's good. And so you knew you wanted to get into marine science, is that right?
Since I was like 7.
7, really,
Yeah.
really. And did you go to college straight,
Yeah, I went to Coastal Carolina University.
So that's how you got to this area.
Yeah, and I graduated.
Yeah. Did you know that you wanted to go to Coastal? Or?
I did. I always joke with people, I love the color teal, so people ask me why I went there, and I'm like, oh, well, their colors are teal, so it's perfect. But they have one of the best marine science programs.
Right.
And you live at the beach. It's beautiful.
Harvard by the Sea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it could get better, so.
Wow. So you enjoyed your time at Coastal?
I loved it. My cap actually made the front page of the news. It said best 5 years of my life, and that's really true. Like, I loved going to Coastal so much, and I loved being here. I met some really great people. That's actually what brought us back here.
Yeah. Did you know you wanted to come back here, or you just kind of tucked it away?
I didn't know until I left. I think I was like ready to move on, and then I would just like really miss my friends and the people from here. And it's so funny because they would visit me. I lived in Miami, and they would visit me in the Keys, and they were always like, oh my God, it's so amazing like that you're out here doing these things. And I was like, I actually really miss like you guys. So it was really nice staying in contact with all those people. And it's really nice having like a really big group here to come back to.
Well, that's great. And so y'all are at the same point, so y'all both end up in the Keys, correct? I got you. So I'm interested, what, growing up in the pizza business, you just wanted to try something different, or what took you to that path?
So like I said, I really only did pizza, but growing up I'd go to right outside of Philly, they got the Camden Aquarium. They had a lot of sea turtles there, and I always just had an interest in turtles. So I moved to the Keys originally because I wanted to work at this place called the Turtle Hospital. They rehabilitate and release sea turtles, so that was my main goal. I moved down there, found a school down there, and then I'd never been around dolphins or wanted to do anything with dolphins, but I couldn't work at the Sea Turtle Hospital, so I started volunteering at the dolphin place up the street. I was like, oh, I'll just do this to pass the time. Ended up, falling in love with the animals there, the people there. Ended up doing that for 10 years. Till we moved up here. So that's where I met Carly. She started working there a few years after I got there. And then, I was working at nighttime at a bar next door. A couple bought that bar, and then they wanted to open up a pizzeria in the area because everyone said we need a good pizza there. So that's how I got back into pizza, opened up a shop for them. And then, you know, it was kind of one of those things where we just opened a shop for somebody else. It did really well. We were getting ready to leave the Keys, and we're like, well, if we just did it for somebody else, we might as well try and do it for ourselves. And like Carly said, she had a good group of friends around.
Let me pause you right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So tell me the first time y'all met down the Keys.
She started working there.
We're around Valentine's Day, so I got to get a love story out of this. So.
Yeah, I guess our love story is COVID type things.
It was a forbidden love, actually.
Yeah.
So they made 2 separate teams at the Dolphin Research Center, and we weren't allowed to commingle outside of work.
Yeah.
It was like very strict because people have to be there to take care of the animals. So
Right.
if one team got sick, then they send that team back, and the whole other team comes in.
Right.
So we were like secretly hanging out. And it was really funny because I'd like ride my bike around. Like,
Yeah.
It was kind of like we were like 14.
Yeah, fun though, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. Wow. So, and then love blossomed, and
Yeah.
y'all married now?
We're married, yeah.
How many years now?
3.
3.
Yeah,
Good.
we've technically had 2 weddings. We got married in Italy a few years ago, and then we had a party with our family because it was just us that went to Italy to get married, and we had a party in the Keys with all our friends and family down there. So technically got married twice, but yeah, it's been a little over, I guess, almost close to 3.5 years now.
I got you. So you mentioned Italy. Just you've got a big family there still?
I have some family there still. It was just one of those things where I never liked traveling.
Okay.
Like I didn't like flying or doing any of that
Okay.
stuff. And then we got together, and she was like, "You need to start. Like, you need to get on a plane."
I was like, I want to go
figure it out."
everywhere.
You know, so I was
Oh,
like-
wow.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where it's like, all right, well, if we're gonna go somewhere, I want to go to Italy. So wanted to see, you know, the town where my family's at and where they came from, and it was just one of those things. So we had planned on going there already, and then kind of a month or 2 before, we're like, hey, let's just get married while we're over there. So that's how that happened.
That's
yeah.
good. So y'all started a pizza business down there, right? So that's where you got introduced to the pizza world. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved
Did
pizza,
you,
but
yeah. So I mean, but did you know how entrenched his family was? If that's the right word.
I did, because after we
So
started
did you see the
dating-
passion then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 He has always been like somebody who starts something. You can ask anybody who knows him, and he will run full force in that direction.
Okay.
200%.
Right.
Like eyes on the prize.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
That's great.
Yeah, so I went from like even with the Dolphins, never seeing a dolphin before, to like, oh, this is what I want to do, you know. And it was like opposite story of someone like Carly who like grew up wanting to do this her whole life, and I just showed up and I'm like, hey, I think I want to do this, you know, down there. And then same thing with pizza. I got, after not doing it for about 7 years in Florida, you know, got back into it and was like, all right, this is what I want to do. Got serious about it as far as like taking courses and traveling and learning a bunch of different techniques and stuff, and that's what kind of pushed us to this, to do our own thing. It was kind of accumulation of all those things. So once we decided this is where we wanted to go and that's what we wanted to do, it was kind of like full force into that. So Carly didn't work at the shop down there in Florida. She didn't like get into it actually working until we got here and got our own shop. So this is like our first shop doing it together.
So when you opened the shop up down in Florida, did you know that you were changing courses again? You know, like you saying, going to be full force pizza again, or you were just trying to get that one
No,
going?
originally it was one of those things where it's like, you know, living in the Florida Keys, obviously cost of living is high, so I always had 2 jobs down there, and originally it was just going to be one of those things where I had my Dolphin job, and then this was going to be like a part-time thing.
Right.
As it kind of grew and we were getting ready to open, it was like, all right, might require a little bit more of my time, so it started being to where it was like mostly pizza. And then honestly, just as something, it was always something that I did growing up and learned it from my family. But when I got my certifications and started taking all these different classes is when I kind of got more of a passion for it and understanding the science behind it and knowing I can create and do different things that I didn't know how to do before. So that's when it kind of switched to like, all right, this is the direction that I'm going to go in. And that's what kind of made us decide that we're going to try and do our own thing up here. So yeah, it was kind of a slow, gradual thing. It was like Dolphins for 7 years, and then it was a little bit pizza, and then kind of shifted more towards that, you know. And then eventually, before we left Florida, it was pretty much all my time was with the pizza and not so much with the Dolphins and everything. Yeah.
So at this point in your pizza journey, how much? I mean, you already said your uncle poured a lot, your family poured a lot into you. Where'd you feel like your skill level was? But then you said you learned more. Like, is it family recipes, or kind of help me like the craft, I guess?
Yeah, so it was always family recipes when I first moved to Florida, and then I went and got my pizzaiola certification and That is like a 5-day course where they kind of teach you the science behind it. So I was able to kind of that's when I started tinkering with my own recipes and not just kind of reading off a recipe sheet from my family and kind of being able to create on my own. And then as you take more classes, you kind of, oh, well, let me try this or let me try that. And that was kind of a switch that went off once I took my first course of like, oh, I can do this on my own. You know, I don't have to depend on other people for recipes. And this was kind of when it started just being like me as opposed to just copying what my family done. So it was kind of like I take a piece of that and a piece of this and kind of mash it all together into our own kind of style of pizza that I think we made at Anto's now.
Yeah. So so when he starts these classes, or you're like, I kind of like me, like I had no idea, or he's passionate. Tell me your thoughts at this point once life is shifting again.
I think he's really cool.
Okay.
And I always call it like a new adventure. I'm like, what's the new adventure? Like, what's next?
Right.
So I thought that was really interesting. And I'm like obsessed with like very clean ingredients.
Right.
So I feel like that's where, when we came together, I kind of bring that to the table.
Okay.
I want the freshest, cleanest, non-toxic ingredients in our food.
Right.
And to the point where I drive him a little bit crazy sometimes.
Right. Wow.
So
perfect team there.
I thought it was like really
out.
interesting, the science behind it. I am not a baker or that side of it. I always joke I'm the carnivore. I cook a lot of meat. So it was really interesting to see the science that he like brought to it. And he is so obsessive about everything that goes into the dough, the dough, the time that it takes the dough to be ready, the temperature, the moisture in the air. Like it really is so scientific, and he is very precise about it.
That's great. So you invested a lot of time in education. Was it tough to leave the
I think it will always be tough, and we'll always look back. Like I still have people texting me today talking about the Dolphins and giving me updates on them and things like that. I will always miss that part, but how lucky we are that we got to do it, because it's such a hard field to get into.
Right.
So I feel like we're blessed in that way. But I mean, you'll always miss those. And
I appreciate y'all sharing the story. Every time I've been in your shop, I've always seen the pictures of the dolphins and stuff, and I always like, do they just love dolphins? But it's much deeper than that,
Oh, for sure. Even our menu, a lot of the pizzas and salads and sandwiches, they're named after dolphins, sea lions, birds, turtles, tortoises, things like that. Right. So, like she said, it's one of those things where it's really tough to walk away, especially, someone like me. I didn't grow up wanting to do that as far as, the dolphins and everything, but you form connections, just like with people, you form connections with animals, and it's tough to walk away from that. But it's also one of those fields where it's very hard to like make it into a lifelong career. You got to find something else to do. So I think this was a good thing for us, because even though she never did pizza before, this is like our own thing, you know what I mean? So we stepped away from like the dolphin field, but we got to create our own little shop down there that brings all those elements of things that we did in the past combined with the pizza stuff. So we still do stuff with like the dogs. I'm sure you've seen when you come into the shop, with the summer safe haven, the rescue. So we still try and do stuff to help animals as much as we can. And, like you said, you see the pictures on the wall, the items on the menu all named after the animals that we worked with.
So like having a family, you're learning, you're playing with your recipes. Do y'all ever have family discussions, the extended family, like I'm doing this, or I can't tell you my secret recipe? Like tell me, is it a little bit of fun with that, or?
It's fun, and my family's really supportive. It's funny now, they are. My uncle, when I had my shop with him, he's like, he came from Italy, and he works like I work still to this day, and he's almost 60. He's the only one that makes pizzas in his shop. He's working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks like I am, and he was always telling me when we had the shop, like, go back. He was really the one pushing me to go to school and do something else, because he's like, you don't want to do this your whole life, So he is supportive, but at the same time, there's some people that's like, you don't want to do what I do. You don't get an education, do something else, So, but now that I'm in it, and we've had luckily some success so far in this year, and some change that we've been open. Obviously really proud, and we went to Italy. They were excited for that we took home that, and the local awards and stuff like that. So they are proud and supportive. like I said, he wishes sometimes I did something else, but he's happy with the success that we've had for sure.
But with your recipes, do you and him ever kind of go back and forth, or like, I'm doing this, or I can't tell you? I mean, kind of just have fun with it.
No, I'll tell my family anything, you know, and but it's a different style of pizza, you know. We do something completely different. Just like a lot of the shops around here, no one's going to be the exact same thing. My uncle, like specifically his shop, he does the same thing that he's always done, which is good, and it works, and it's great pizza. You know, I go home and I eat his pizza all the time, and I love it. It's my favorite. I think I'll never say that my pizza is better than theirs or anything like that.
It's just different.
You know? It's just different, yeah. So what we do, I think, is our own little thing. So it's just different from them, different from other places. You know, like Carly said, the clean ingredients and just the style. I think it's not like, you know, a New York style, or, you know, it's a different thing, a blend of different styles. So we don't really, you know, discuss ingredients and recipes too much. They do their
just
thing.
Enjoy pizza.
Just enjoy pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and how did y'all come with the idea, together, to come back to Conway, South Carolina, to do this? So tell me, take me inside that discussion.
It was, I had never been here, so it was she had, like she said, a lot of her friends all in the area. I had never been here ever, so it was a new thing for me, but it was like, oh, all right, let's try it out. You know, I had met her friends who became my friends, and we came up a couple of years ago, I guess now, maybe a little bit more, just to taste some pizza that's in the area, see if we could, you know, open up a shop and be successful here, and that was kind of it. So she's the reason that we're here, and it kind of was just one of those things where we had like kind of a cast net of like, this is the general area where we wanted to be, and coincidentally, a real estate agent that ended up helping us out, he walked into Carly's job in the Florida Keys, and, you know, they got to talking, and, you know, he says, oh, we're from Myrtle Beach, and she gets to talking about how she lived here, and one thing led to another, and she gave him my info, and I called him up and came to look at spots, and he said, oh, I got this spot in Conway, you know, if you want to check it out, and it was just a great location, and wasn't really sure what to expect. Like I said, that was my first time being in Conway, and that, you know, so happy we found the spot, because originally, you know, Carly really loves Pawleys Island, and we live at the beach right now, so that's kind of more the area we were looking for. But super happy in Conway, love the area, and really happy that we made it there.
So, Carly, so you're familiar with other areas in the Grand Strand. Was Conway come on your radar? Or
I lived in Conway. Yeah.
Okay, so you were good to come in downtown?
Yeah, I loved Conway. And we were looking all over like this area, and it's just really funny because the last place I lived in Myrtle Beach, I lived here like almost 10 years, was Conway, South Carolina, and I came right back to Conway, South Carolina.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the first time you come to Conway, did you say like, I can make this work, this feels good to me? Or like,
yeah, it was a cool area, like being, like I said, from the Philadelphia area, it's so busy, there's so much going on. Then you go down to the Keys, I'm in there for 10 years, and there's nothing going on, you know, it's really slow paced. So when I got to Conway and I'm looking and it's downtown, you know, I think it was in like March or April, so it wasn't like crazy like the holidays or anything, but it was like a perfect mix of like where I'm from and where I've been living the last 10 years. You know, there's enough going on. I love the downtown area. You know, in the business that was there prior to us, it seemed like they were successful, and I love the little strip of shops that are down there. I just thought it was a good mix of different types of businesses and people, and I thought it would be a great fit, and it has been so far. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, really happy, and not sure what to expect. You know, you don't know being from Philadelphia and coming from Florida. It's like Conway. You know, I didn't know how people would accept us and how that would go. But
well, how's that been? Have you enjoyed the people? The people been receptive? Just besides just loving your pizza. You know?
No, 99% of the people we have in there.
You always got 1%.
There's always 1%. Yeah. We work on those people a little bit, but for the most part. It's not even a thing of like the 1% is Conway or Northerners or whatever. You always get 1% no matter where you are or where you're from, you know. But the majority of the people love it, and I think we have a good, you know, like I said today, you know, we're donating pizzas to Shepherd's Table. We love like not only doing stuff with the animals, but being involved in the community and stuff like that. So I feel like people respond to that. And, you know, even though we've only been here a little over a year, love to be, you know, people look at us as like a part of the community already, which is nice.
Are.
Yeah. So, I think most people are really receptive, and not only for the pizza, but like I said, being a part of the community and something where, you know, how often you see those things online. It's like, there's no good pizza in South Carolina, none of this. So I think it's, you know, one of the things that we were trying to do is like, let's try and make Conway, you know, a place that people go for pizza. And I think, you know, little by little, it's definitely happening especially after our Rome trip. And, you know, you see different things happening where people are starting to look at South Carolina that they have some good pizza spots. So
Yeah.
that was the goal originally, and so far so
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you win a big award before you came to Conway? Am I?
We won, we won local awards when we were in Florida,
Okay.
but
Were you on a show? Because it
was the guy from Barstool Sports,
Is there
the
some
Dave Portnoy.
tattooed on you?
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for people that follow Dave Portnoy, he's like the Barstool Sports guy. He does the pizza reviews. He came to the spot that I opened for somebody else in Florida, and that kind of went all over the internet because he came in and did a review. And me being from the Philadelphia area, being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I have a giant tattoo of Tom Brady getting sacked in the Super Bowl on my back. So he saw that, and then we got a pretty good score in his review. So I got that tattoo, the score for that afterwards. So that was kind of made that shop blow up down there. And when it was funny because a lot of people when we came here found that review and it's like, oh, that's you. And I'm like, yeah,
wow,
that's us. So
that's great.
Yeah, so we won some local awards down there, but this. I didn't actually go and start competing like at an international level till we got here. So we did Vegas last year. We did Rome, obviously.
So tell us about the Rome Awards you did recently and what goes into that.
Yeah, so that was our second competition ever. It was tough because obviously, it's easy to make pizza at your shop when you're traveling halfway across the world. You got issues with your dough and traveling and figuring that out.
So you take your dough with you?
I took our dough with me, yeah.
Okay.
I actually made it here at the shop, froze it, and then took it in a carry-on and checked bags, just put it in a cooler and checked it and took it over there.
Anybody know what you had or no?
Like the TSA agents, you mean? Yeah.
They asked you a lot of questions?
No, well, I actually went because I was...
got stopped, yeah.
But that was because of our flour, yeah. I kind of took flour in an unmarked bag in the shape of
bricks.
Shape of a brick. So that...
Pat you down.
Yeah. So they pulled that out and did some swabs, but I was good to go. But yeah, so I actually went to the airport earlier in the week to be like, hey, I need to take dough for this competition. And they're like, oh, you're good. So that was our first time competing internationally. Our second ever competition, so that was nerve-wracking because you got to make your dough here, and especially for the Roman dough that we competed with, it's a 3-day dough. So it's like once you get over there, if the dough gets messed up in travel, like you can't just make more dough. This is what we have to use for the competition. So that was an interesting, trip over there because it's not a short flight to Italy, so it's like the whole flight is just nerve-wracking, and then you got to get to the airport, you got to get to your hotel, hope that the dough's still good, get it into a cooler. So there's a lot that went into it for sure.
So when you get there, is it like a time thing, or you got to make one pie, or like what is?
So I competed for a couple different ones. So I needed 3 different doughs. I brought like a dozen just in case something happened to them, and I was just going to pick the best ones out. So we get there, the competition was at the hotel we were staying at, so it was like before we even check into the room, most competitions, they have like an area where you can prep. So they have coolers and, we're competing with people from all over the world. So you have like labeled the Japanese team, the Italian team, you got these little labels on the fridge for where you could put your stuff. So I just, you put your dough in the cooler, check into the room, and then, little by little, I'm like going, checking on it, make sure it's still looking good, reballing it, getting our stuff ready. And then the next day the competition started. So you got about, a dozen different competitions throughout the couple days, and you have time slots, and you got to just see where your time slot is, take your dough out, make sure you're ready. And, they have a little kitchen area where you can prep your stuff, and it's kind of just mayhem for a few hours because you got a bunch of different people cooking, doing different things, prepping ingredients. And then there's just, you walk into like a big showroom, there's just a wall of ovens, you have your little table, and they give you 10 minutes and you just got to do your thing there. So
who was the judges?
There was about 20 different judges from all over the world, so you take your pizza up there, take it to different judges, they taste it, they ask you questions about it. This one is, obviously they taste it, they ask you questions about what goes into it, your hydration levels, then you have to take a written part 2 to see if you understand the fermentation process and different things like that. So all that gets taken into account for your final score, and yeah.
What were you doing all this time? Were you just watching, or like
trying to calm this man down?
So you were just trying to calm
trying to get him to breathe.
Yeah. Wow.
We actually had so many people that went over with us. He had like the biggest cheerleading squad, I think, out of anybody there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did y'all get to do some sightseeing too while you were there?
Oh yeah. You're not going to Italy and not going to see the Amalfi Coast, or
yeah, we went. The last day we were kind of broke it up into 3 separate trips. We were going to go sightseeing Rome the last day that we were in Rome before we went to the Amalfi Coast, but didn't expect us to win anything. So that last day was like your interviews and your photo sessions for like everybody that won. So I was doing that, and then they went and got to see Rome, went to see the city and everything like that. But
wow.
So I didn't get to see the Rome itself, but I was happy with my day.
So you won.
We won, yeah.
We won. That's awesome. Did you get to try anybody else's pizzas there?
Oh, we were trying everything. Yeah.
Did you taste anything y'all liked? Or?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's.
So you're a fan.
My mom, I think, is now friends with a man who has a pizza shop in Brazil, and they message back and forth on Instagram.
That's awesome.
It's a, like I said, World Cup, Pizza World Cup, and it was exactly that. You have a few Italian teams, French teams. Like she said, her mom made friends with a man from Brazil.
The energy was really good. The people were really kind.
Aww.
Everybody was always cheering each other on, and like, I mean, celebrating as if they won the Super Bowl. Like it was crazy.
And then there's only a couple Americans there, so you know, for us it's like nerve-wracking because we got a whole squad of people going. We're like one of the only Americans there, and you got these people from all over the world. But it was just, it was a good time. You know, we got to try everybody's pizza. Everyone's cheering you on. I got people that I had never met before. You know, that were helping each other out. It was a really good time. So as nerve-wracking as the whole situation is, it was really cool competition, and you know, like she said, everyone's cheering for each other, and it was a good time for sure.
Well, congratulations, y'all.
Yeah,
that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So tell us about the shop coming in, what people need to know if they never visited you.
Yeah, we're a small shop. I'm the only one that makes pizzas, and that was another thing when we got here. It was kind of one of those things where we just want to have our own little shop. We make a certain amount of pizzas a day. You know, it was always quality over quantity for us. You know, you can get it by the slice for lunch. If it's not too busy, we'll keep it going. Wait times get crazy, but we just suggest, you know, people call it in, see what the wait time is. Mm-hmm. You know, you can always plan it out. If we say it's an hour, hour and a half, you know, we text people about 15 minutes before their pizza's ready. So, yeah, for lunch, we offer pizza by the slice. You can get whole pies. We do our Roman squares, which is what we did in Italy, and we also offer a round pie as well. So we make our own focaccia, and we do sandwiches, salads, you know, stuff like that. So
and espresso.
Always espresso.
I kind of these are some of the hardest working people. I mean, y'all are just working, but I'll see you go to espresso machine. You're always so.
That's what keeps me going for sure.
Yeah, wow. But that's I don't think we talk about it. People really realize what we got in Conway. Y'all are world class, and
appreciate it.
I've seen the lines out the door. I mean, and people are waiting for quality. So I encourage people to really come and check y'all out. And stuff.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
But y'all have enjoyed being here, though.
Of course, yeah. It's a ton of work, obviously, but it makes it worth it. You know, you get. Thankfully, like we talked about earlier, the community is really receptive to us. They vote for us. We've been lucky enough to win, you know, a good amount of local awards already. So, you know, we always appreciate people with their patience.
People bring him like gifts. Like this man, I've never seen somebody be gifted so many things, and they're thoughtful things. Somebody handmade a leather wallet for him.
Wow,
yeah,
like
really
T-shirts. Awesome. I mean, people will open the door and they just yell "Go Birds," or they're just like Anto. Like it is really nice. Like a lot of love.
Yeah, that is so great.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, we've been lucky for sure.
Yeah. So you know, I just think you know, as we wind it down, thank y'all for being here today.
Of course.
So tell me your hours again and where you're located.
Yeah, 1129 3rd Ave in Conway, right next to Crafty Rooster, in between them and the courthouse. We're Tuesday through Saturday now. We open at 11, close at 8, or until we sell out.
You can follow you on social media.
Social media, Facebook page, Anto's Pizza Romana, Instagram, at Anto's Pizza Romana, and then our website. You can see our menu, our hours, everything is www.antospizza.com.
Yeah. So folks, as we finish up today, world famous pizza in Conway, South Carolina. You want to come try it if you haven't. It's worth the wait, so come enjoy. Join us next time.